All right, guys, we watched some wild card action in the playoffs this weekend, and I wanted to take what we saw in the 5 games. We have another game tonight, and relate it back to the Browns. We had asked this question before. Do you think the Browns are just a quarterback away? And I'm curious if what you saw over the weekend in these 5 wild card round matchups either reinforced your thoughts that they are not just a quarterback away, or if what you saw changed your opinion on how close you think the Browns are from being competitive in the AFC again.
It's really a bad question, though, Mike, because are they or I shouldn't say it's a bad question, but it needs to be clarified. A quarterback away from what? From being a playoff team?
A contender.
Or being a true Super Bowl contender?
Well, I was hoping you guys would take differing opinions on this because I was going to chime in and say, let's now clarify.
I got you. Okay,
more, so.
My bad. Yeah. I jumped the gun on you there.
No, you're all good. So, Bull, what do you think?
Are the Browns a quarterback away?
Let's start with just contending. Not
Does anybody have a definitive answer?
100%. From being a playoff contender, 100% they're a quarterback away. Yes, without a doubt.
Only a quarterback away.
Well, I mean, if they had, it depends how good the quarterback is.
That's the answer.
Right?
That's the answer.
If you're telling me they're getting the next
Jaden Daniels,
top elite quarterback, then yes, okay.
It was funny, when I was reading your email last night on the show, I'm watching the Commanders.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, the answer's right here. It's on my TV right now.
Yep.
The Commanders were awful. Terrible football team.
Number of years.
For a number of years. And they get Jaden Daniels. And I'm telling you guys, I don't think this is hyperbole. He's the next coming of Lamar Jackson. His RPO game and his ability to read is unbelievable. He can scramble. He buys time. He makes throws. He converted on 3rd and 4th down all night last night. And as a result, the Commanders are now moving into – who do they play? Are they at the
Lions?
Eagles? They're going to beat the Lions.
The Lions, yes.
That's good.
And he had a lot of detractors. There was nobody.
I loved him. I drafted him in my fantasy league and rode him to a championship.
That's great. You had crystal ball there because there's a lot of people that was not very high on Jaden.
I loved him.
Wait, that's not true.
Yeah. Loved him at LSU. I thought he should have been the number 1 pick.
A lot of people were poo-pooing Bo Nix. But
Bo Nix, yes.
Nobody was jumping up and down for Jaden Daniels. Like, oh my gosh, he's going to kill the league next year.
The thing is, I'm not putting it's totally unfair to put Jaden Daniels in conversation with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has been great from almost the moment he came in the league. Jaden Daniels has done it for 1 year. We saw C.J. Stroud.
That's all he's played.
Well, I know that, but C.J. Stroud was like a historic rookie last year, and he went backwards
I know,
this
but
year.
Bull, what I'm saying is his skill set, his ability to scramble like Lamar, because C.J. Stroud isn't scrambling like Lamar.
I don't think he scrambles like Lamar.
I think he very much scrambles like Lamar. I love the way he sprints out of the pocket.
Yeah.
And then makes the decision, once he leaves the pocket, I'm either going to throw it or run it. But either way, he is a massive
How many yards did he have this year rushing? It wasn't a crazy amount.
He broke RG3's record.
Do you have his rushing yards?
I'm pulling. I didn't have a Commander's stats, but I'll tell you right now.
I think he broke RG3's record.
In the regular season this year, Jaden Daniels rushed for 891 yards.
Wow, that's more than I thought.
I'm telling you, Bull, he is. And I know it's not fair.
I love him.
It's not fair to say it yet because it is 1 year.
Yeah.
And RG3 had obviously the bad injury.
Yeah.
We've seen guys come into the league and do it for a year, and CJ's a great example of that. But I'm just looking at his game. The way I think Lamar is a cheat code. When you pair him with Derrick Henry, they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Well, Lamar,
I believe that the Baltimore Ravens are winning the Super Bowl this year.
I hate that the Ravens are playing the Bills this week because I think
I do too.
Teams.
I think that's Bull. The winner wins the Super Bowl. I think the winner of that game wins the Super Bowl. But what I'm saying is his RPO IQ and his ability, once he makes a decision to then make a play, is Lamar-esque.
I'll give you that.
Now, he's got to keep that trajectory.
I just think Lamar, it's so impressive to me what Lamar has done because his game gets better every year.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
Well, for the Cleveland Browns, they have neither. So
that's true.
No, the question is, find that guy, and I don't think he's out there.
If you told me they got a Jaden Daniels this year, I would say yes, they have a good chance to get to the playoffs. Now, to be fair about it, the AFC is way better at the top than the NFC is.
Much.
And so it's easier to get in the playoffs in the NFC than it is in the AFC.
That's a good point.
So that makes it more challenging. But yes, if the Browns, in
Bo
theory,
Nix did it in the AFC. Took
That's
a bad team,
That's true.
splashed in his rookie play,
And
and
got
they
out
made
as
the
soon as
playoff.
he went in.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. We
But
didn't
that's-
ask, are you going to
Right.
take
But
multiple
that's sort
steps?
of the point that-
I want them to be a playoff contender.
Yeah.
And what we saw this year in each conference was a quarterback drafted not number one, take bad teams and elevate them into the playoffs.
That's right. But the bottom line is the 4 best quarterbacks in the league. There's a line after the 4 best quarterbacks.
100%.
And what do they have in common? They're all in the AFC.
Yes.
Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, Allen. They are head and shoulders above everybody else. Now, maybe in another year or two, Jaden Daniels joins them. Maybe Stroud does. Who knows? I love both of those guys. And I don't think Stroud had quite as bad a year as some people have said it. They had a ton of injuries. He was still pretty good this year, just not as good as last year. And kudos to them. They kicked the crap out of the Chargers.
They did to the Chargers what they did to the Browns last year.
That's right. But so that makes it so much harder in the AFC.
Hell no. Y'all break dancing. I usually break dance. Are the Browns really just a quarterback away? Hell no. They need multiple things.
Well, the Commanders were horrible.
Man, they got Terry McLaurin too.
Yeah, but he was sitting there with nobody to throw the ball.
You don't think
the
Jerry
Browns
Jeudy's
have Jerry Jeudy.
Hey, listen.
Jerry Jeudy in the ballpark of McLaurin?
By the way, that's the NFC. Let's go back to
I said that.
Let's go back to the. We play in the AFC. So the team that we just didn't even throw Herbert out there, and he got smoked by Stroud.
Yeah.
So we don't got a Herbert, we don't got a Stroud, we don't got a Bo Nix, we don't got we don't got none of the top 4 you talking about.
Not yet.
But what I'm saying to you is, are they a quarterback away? No, you need a quarterback. You need a receiver. You need another lineman. You need another dude on that. Because here's the thing. The goal for me ain't to be, we just snuck in the playoffs. My goal is to win the championship.
I agree.
And are we close enough? No.
But G, take the Browns as the discussion point. When you put Jameis Winston into that starting lineup this year, and he played at peak Jameis Winston, they beat the Ravens. Mm-hmm. They beat the Steelers. And what happened was suddenly the defense looked energized. Mm-hmm. The wide receivers looked better.
Yeah.
The tight end, everybody. It raises all boats. A high tide does.
But to get to him to be that consistent level, if you want to come with a mid-tier quarterback like that, you got to be stacked. And we never.
But we're not talking.
I'm not talking mid-tier. I'm talking the next Jaden Daniels.
They won 11 games with pretty
awful quarterback play.
Yeah, I mean a little above average with Flacco,
and then got destroyed by one of these quarterbacks.
Which is why we're having
We're having two different conversations.
No, the conversation is: are they one quarterback away
from being a contender?
Yes, they're one quarterback away from being a contender.
When you say contender,
if they get a top 10 quarterback,
G's talking championship contender. You guys are talking playoff
AFC
contender.
championship game.
Oh, well, that's what I want.
No, because Bull clarified that at the beginning.
Yeah,
he said,
that's what he want.
Well,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but baby steps. Baby steps.
Playoff,
Let's just be in the
playoff
conversation.
contender or championship contender?
I
He's
want
talking
championship.
championship.
You can't do it all in
You guys
one
are
year.
talking playoff.
Yeah, well, nobody here would say they're a playoff away from being a Super Bowl contender because they'd be out of their minds if they said that.
I just started this season, and we were Super Bowl contenders. They won 3 games.
No, they weren't. They were not legit Super Bowl contenders.
No. That was the expectation.
No, well, it shouldn't have been.
That was the expectation.
It wasn't for me, so I'm not taking.
Everybody you talked to said everybody you talked to said the Cleveland Browns were legit Super Bowl contenders.
Only in Cleveland. Only in Cleveland.
If Deshaun Watson came back and played even remotely good.
Well, we now know that it's too big to even have a conversation about.
So my thing is, you missed your window. You missed the window. It's not just the quarterback. You got something to do at line. You got something to do with. You got worse. You got rid of Amari Cooper. Your line is getting old. And by the way, the coaching staff needs to be upgraded.
So, G, if that's your stance, then you're trading Myles Garrett before draft.
Oh, I ain't trading. No, I ain't not trading him.
Why?
Why would I do that?
Because we're more than one player away. So let's rebuild this.
No.
Let's use the assets that we have to get more assets.
No. I need you to hit like the other guys is hitting. I don't need. See, the thing with the Cleveland Browns is y'all want them to stockpile pitch because you think that they're gonna miss on 3 of those picks.
Well,
you think they're gonna. Well, why is those guys in charge then? See, that's the thing. I need you to hit like the Ravens is hitting. The Ravens don't hit and miss. Even on the free agents. Who would have took Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry is washed. Why would you want Derrick Henry? They put Derrick Henry with Lamar Jackson, they cooking. Like the Steelers. They would have got Russell Wilson, right? Nobody wanted Russell Wilson. They still went to the playoffs. The Browns have to learn to hit what they got.
I mean, the Steelers were collapsing at the end of the season.
But they went to the playoffs. I would have rather be in the playoffs.
Well, you just said you didn't care.
Now
you
you're
want to win
talking
a championship.
But listen, what I'm saying to you is what the Browns are doing has not been good enough. And they are not one quarterback away.
No one argues with that.
But I'm saying they're not just one quarterback away.
Not from championship contention.
No, but they're one. The quarterback makes many of the other flaws go away, and the Browns defense is somewhere in between what we saw 2 years ago and this year. So if you all of a sudden, that's my opinion.
Really? No, Martin Emerson regressed. JOK don't even know he's playing no more.
Okay,
how do you feel? How is this the same defense?
I didn't say it was going to be as good as 2 years ago.
Can we draft Jack Sawyer?
I said it'll be somewhere between 2 years ago and last year. That's my opinion on it.
Okay.
I could be wrong, certainly. If you got a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, which may not be possible, but Jay said a quarterback like Jaden Daniels. If the Browns added a Jaden Daniels level quarterback next year, would they have a great chance to make the playoffs? Absolutely.
I think they'd be in
I don't know that they would definitely.
Of course they would. They won 11 games with trotting five dudes out there 2 years ago.
And look at what they looked like when the quarterback play this year was on point. They beat Pittsburgh and they beat Baltimore.
But you're assuming that these other teams are not getting good. I just saw the Cincinnati Bengals, one of the most stacked offenses in the world, not make the playoffs.
And they fired their defensive coordinator.
Like that. This is the way I go with it. Project Stockpile is this. You started off in last place. For me, what the Browns need to do, and it's the mentality with the Browns, we keep trying to boil it down to if we do one thing. No, you're in last place. Last place teams don't get to do one thing. You got to do multiple. I need a quarterback. I need the receivers. I need to upgrade the defense. Like, I'm not going to fool myself into thinking we get Jaden Daniels, we're going to be good. That's
you think it's going to happen in the next 4 years?
You think if they had Jaden Daniels, they wouldn't be good? I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, but they'd be good.
No, I don't.
Oh my God.
Okay, I disagree.
I think they'd be.
I
think they would have made the playoffs.
Is there anything more important?
Hold on. I don't think they run the ball very effectively. I don't think they can protect the quarterback effectively. I don't believe on defense they have enough playmakers.
Well, Jaden Daniels was Washington's leading rusher.
And Jaden Daniels does not do anything for your penalties. What does Jaden Daniels do for your like? We had guys that we scored touchdowns, and those are called back. We got our special teams. We can't hit.
You're
extra
basing
points.
Everything on this past season.
Listen, I'm going on right now.
I
They're
know,
not
but
good enough.
every season is different.
I'm not. Listen, when you got you know how crazy this sounds. You got a 3-13 football team that's
14.
picking 3-14 that's picking in the top two. Y'all got the number 2 pick, and you're telling me that we lost all those games because we just didn't have a quarterback.
That was the number one reason.
No,
it's not the only reason. There's never only one reason. But bad quarterback play was the number one reason they were 3-14. No,
bad special teams, poor discipline,
that
no running game, offense.
Nobody's saying these things didn't factor in.
But no, when you boil it down, it is crazy to say, all right, we'll take Jaden Daniels and put him on this team, but we can't run the football, and we're going to go to the playoffs.
Year?
Stop.
What was Washington's record last year? 3-14?
Come on.
No, they weren't that bad, were they?
Well, they
had the number 2 pick. So in the 2023 season, which is what led them to having the number 2 pick, they went 4-13.
Okay.
Exactly.
1 game better than the Browns.
So and when you look at their defense, I think was dead last. If it wasn't last, it was towards the bottom of the heap.
They gave up 518 points.
Okay, now
which was
let me
by
ask you
far
this.
the most.
How the hell did Jaden Daniels help the Washington defense go from last to where they are now?
How did he help? He did.
Yes,
because he played well.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, they did make changes to the defense.
Of course they did. But what I'm saying is,
the quarterback play impacts
go look
everything.
at the way the defense played against Baltimore when Jameis Winston was throwing it for 495. Like, those things, it sparks the defense. Now go watch the defense go out there in week 15 when they've got 0 to play for. They're mailing it in. And you're not mailing it in if you're in a playoff race.
You're in the first of all, you can't discount. They play in the NFC.
I know that.
I get
agree.
that.
All I'm saying,
they beat the Eagles this year.
All I'm saying is that the quarterback is the biggest problem. Obviously, it's not the only problem.
I'll give you that.
But it's the biggest problem on the team.
Listen. I'm the one who's saying, listen. y'all better find a quarterback and stop talking about all the ancillary pieces.
Yes.
Like, you get 10 left tackles and a defensive end and a corner and a receiver, and you still might not be good because you don't got the quarterback.
But it all starts with the quarterback.
Right, and here's the bottom line for me. If you said, okay, Jaden Daniels on this team for the 2024 season, do the Browns definitely go to the playoffs? No. But they're not 3-14. No, I'll tell you that.
They're not 3-14.
They're at worst. They're around 500 and close to the playoffs.
You're around 8-9 wins. You're around that area.
Minimum.
Right. 8-9 wins. I give it to you.
Now the big question that is for another day is that quarterback in this draft.
That's the question.
Yeah.
And
that's the question.
None of this matters if he's not.
And are people just saying no because we're all into groupthink now?
That's the question as well. Because here's the thing: when we look at these quarterbacks, and people keep saying the guy isn't there, the guy isn't there, the guy isn't there. Man, I'm looking at teams identifying guys and traits. Because listen, guys, everybody ain't gonna be no polished, finished project. You got your scouting department and your coaching staff there to work in a system that helps build these guys' confidence and develop these quarterbacks. Listen, Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos, they did the unthinkable. They said, we're going to take the cap hit. Think about this. They said, we'll take the cap hit. We'll trade you Jerry Jeudy. And we'll draft Bo Nix. And they drafted him, put him in Sean Payton's system. And guess what? They're in the playoffs. Now, guys, nobody was saying that Bo Nix had the first round talent. Nobody was saying he was
sixth quarterback off the board.
People said it was a reach. All I'm saying is, if you know it's that important, you got to put some time, energy, and effort into figuring out, is there somebody in this draft that I can work with, that I can put my stamp on to get better quarterback
I'm
play?
coming around on Sanders, by the way, and because I've heard a few people have now told me that they think he's a great fit in Stefanski's system. And the idea that some people are going to write him off just because he's Deion Sanders' son, and there could potentially, maybe, I'm not saying there will be, but there could potentially be some drama surrounding that. I think that's a stupid reason to write him off.
Every draft has at least one.
Yep.
Even 2022, because I want to double check.
Is that
I just
the Kenny
looked it up.
Pickett year?
That's the Kenny Pickett year.
Who was good that year?
Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every quarterback.
No. Pickett wasn't Purdy's year.
Yeah.
No, Purdy was the same year as Trey Lance.
20.
No.
I thought they took. That was the same draft class. I thought.
2022.
I think Purdy was 22.
22 was. I just looked it up.
Mike McCarthy gone from Dallas.
Yeah.
Wow.
But every draft, even the worst quarterback.
Jason, you're right. I'm wrong.
Even the worst quarterback drafts, there's at least one.
Now, he was taken dead last.
Yeah.
You do have a guy named Will Howard that's being talked about as a 5th, 6th round pick in this
Lord.
draft. Is he the guy?
No.
Shaking your head absolutely definitively no? Definitively no?
Hey, that Will Howard beating that drum on Will Howard is about.
We're going to talk Ohio State in a sec, but to your Bo Nix point a second ago, G, Sean Payton identified him as a guy he thought he could run his system to a T.
Yep.
And they traded up. But I went back to check. I just looked at CBS, ESPN, and PFF. They all had Bo Nix in terms of their big board between 27 and 36. So in that late first, early second range.
Yeah.
The Broncos took him at 12. They felt so strongly that this was the guy that fit what Sean Payton wanted to do, and they believed Sean Payton could elevate and get the most out of him, that even if it was a reach in terms of where he was ranked versus where the selection was made, to them, it was worth it.
By the way, again,
real quick.
Mike, I just got to say, it's insane. Not only you do this, we all do this. We call somebody a reach, and we base that reach on people that are not working in football, where they put them on their draft board.
I know, but it's all we have. Those are the draft experts, you know.
What I'm saying is that Stefanski likes any of these guys.
Yeah.
And he says, that's my guy.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can pass that up.
Mike, the beauty of what you just said is this, and I don't understand why it doesn't happen this way more often. The most important relationship a head coach has is with his quarterback.
Yeah.
Everybody would agree with that.
Yes.
Why head coaches are constantly handcuffed with the guy that other people think will be perfect for him has always mystified me. And in this case, and Andy Reid also has a track record of doing this as well, when you feel so strongly about a certain guy that you go to management and say, this is the player that I would build if I was in a lab and could build the quarterback that I want. If you're Denver's management, you're crazy not to say, then go get him.
Right.
And what should be going on behind the doors in Berea right now is Kevin Stefanski should be looking at tape of every single quarterback in this draft.
Yeah, everyone.
Lock him in a room, have him come out in the end of February and say, okay, Kev, who you got?
Is this the card?
Who do you have?
That's it.
And then you can position yourself because you've got the two. Unless it's the guy that's going to go number one, you've got your pick of whoever you want.
Well, he's going to have to have a list of two in case the guy he wants goes first.
He will, but I mean, at some point, it behooves the Browns to go to Kevin and say, we've tried it our way. We've tried forcing square peg and round hole. We tried pulling your coordinator and forcing this coordinator. We tried having him call plays. Now, there's one control in the experiment. It's all yours, Kevin. Sink or swim.
And you're going to be able to build your book, your plays, your concepts
around the guy
the guy you took. Not Baker because he was here. Not Deshaun because you went and got a king's ransom and gave it to him. Somebody that you looked in the eye and said, I choose you.
And then if they fail, gone.
There it is.
You're right.
Gone.
Because now we let you do it your way.
It's you.
So now, Kevin, here's the big question.
If he gets it right, then he's here for a decade.
Are the Browns smart enough to do it that way?
Well, they've tried everything else.
So what do they have to lose?
I believe Kevin Stefanski is finally standing up for himself.
I feel like there's
I
some
think
evidence to that.
I think he's going to have big. And
I don't even think he has to.
Yeah.
Just read the room.
Yeah, right.
And he and Andrew Berry, they're on the same page.
They are in lockstep.
I think they are.
Yeah.
I think they'll work together and hopefully find the right guy. I mean, that's.
I mean, here's the thing. If he, and I'll be clear on it. If he come through and he knocked this out of the park, man, you're not gonna hear nothing from me about no Kevin Stefanski, bro. Like, cause look, he came through a 3-14 season, and then he's like, yo, I'm gonna run my offense, I'm gonna find my quarterback, I'm gonna do it this way. You gotta respect it, because now if it hit, you gonna give him all the credit. Because he's like, yo, I did it everybody else's way. But when I put my life on the line, I put my career on the line, and I said, I'm gonna draft this guy. That's all people would want. And if you stamp that guy, you'll forget about it. I think sometimes I question and say, why was Baker so popular, right? Because it was one of the first times that I think somebody like Dorsey just went to the podium, handed the ticket in, and said, give me that guy. And it was like, oh, okay. Like,
well, that and the end of the playoff drought.
And then
when you end the playoff drought, you're gonna be king for a day.
And right, so then it turned out to be right, and so everybody was on board.
Right.
You couldn't find nobody that didn't like Baker.
And the plan might include this. Okay, I've got a 2-tiered plan. The guy that I love isn't really. I don't think he's NFL ready. Few are. Mm-hmm. So my bridge is going to be Kirk Cousins for a year, and I'm gonna mold this young quarterback the way I want him to play, and then in 2026, the team is his.
He may not get that opportunity if you're Stefanski. I don't know.
Maybe not, but at least if he goes to management and says, if you get me Kirk Cousins for a year and you draft this guy for me for the future, I've got a winner for you.
He has to look at Kirk Cousins, and he has to be honest with him and say, how much you got left?
I think Kirk Cousins is done.
And Kirk has to be like, or I got something left.
Kirk Cousins trying to. Well, I guess he's got money coming to him.
He got the money. They just got to find if they find the right quarterback. And this sounds bad because it sounds like I'm selling propaganda, but people will gravitate because of the differences between what the quarterbacks were before. And I say Jameis Winston isn't a good solid character guy. If they get another dude, Kirk Cousins is well prepped, well groomed. He talks to the media.
He might be the most liked guy in the league.
He's a very likable individual. And if you're Kevin Stefanski, you got a quarterback, and you say, all right, he's not ready to play. Can I get through and make 8 games? Because I think if they go 500 next year, and with a bridge quarterback, but the quarterback's on the roster, I think that's a success.
Yeah, I wouldn't do Kirk Cousins.
Or a bridge veteran.
I don't know. People are not going to like this name, but I would rather do Andy Dalton because Andy Dalton the last bunch of years has worked with a ton of young quarterbacks.
I'll do too. I like him exponentially better.
40?
No, I don't think he's that old.
I think he's older than Kirk.
I just think, I think ultimately when you draft a guy too, he's going to play sooner rather than later.
37.
Whether you like it or not. But